Hello, and welcome back to Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I'm coming at you from the 256. This video, I will be talking about the NFL wild card playoff weekend, and giving my predictions. Just going to talk about those games real quickly, give a prediction for each, and that'll be it. But I did want to say my regular season record. Last week I went 12-4. My regular season overall record finished at 160-96. 160-96. I did all those picks straight up this season. Next season, I will do those against the spread. But let's get to these NFL playoff picks for Wild Card Weekend. The first game we got here, 4:35 Eastern. It'll be 3:35 Central Time, my time here in the 256. But on ESPN, ESPN will be the carrier, and it will be between division rivals, the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Should be one heck of a game. The Colts, 7th in offense, 11th in defense, as you can see there. 6th in passing. Andrew Luck having one of the best years of his career. Phenomenal. 20th in rushing, but they've been up and down with some injuries. Marlon Mack has really done really well for them this last half of the season, or even less than that. But he's played really well for them. The Texans, they really struggled. Obviously, we all know, started 0-3, reeled off 9 in a row before they lost a few more games. Towards the end of the season, they eventually finished up 11-5, won the AFC South, where these two teams come from. Their offense, 15th overall, 12th overall in defense. Defense is good. They avoided injuries this season. 17th in passing, you would think they'd be a little higher with the way Deshaun Watson has played at times, but 8th in rushing. That's including Deshaun Watson. Lamar Miller has really had a great season this season for once. He really did what he was expected to do. A lot of people always expect a lot out of him, and it seems like he falls short. Not this season. He's played pretty well. Done what he's needed to do for them. But as far as this game goes, I expect all these games this weekend are going to be close. I believe the Colts, they're on a tear right now. The Texans, they went 11-2 in their last 13 games. What can you say? The Colts, they've won 9 out of 10, I believe it is, 10 out of 11, something like that. Just what they did after starting 1-5 has been phenomenal. But I'm going to give the nod, and I'm going to pick the Houston Texans to win this game. It's at home. Deshaun Watson is playing in this game. With him, I think he's just that difference maker they need. DeAndre Hopkins, the Houston area. A lot of people are going to be playing for the little girl that was unfortunately shot and killed. A lot of passion. It's a home playoff game. Just a lot of stuff's going to go on, and I think it falls the Houston Texans' way, and they knock out the Colts in the wild card round. The second game, sorry, I'll try not to talk as much, but second game, it's a rematch of this season. Earlier in this season, week 3, I believe, in which Seattle won. They won that game 24-13. But in that game, Ezekiel Elliott, he averaged 8 yards a carry, and they still only put up 13 points. But the Seahawks, not so great passing, number 1 team in the league in rushing. Offense and defense overall, middle of the road, middle of the pack. Cowboys, they've had very good defense all season. Their offense has seemed to sputter at times. Rushing, they have the number 1 rushing running back in the league. I believe he finished first in rushing yards. Amari Cooper has transformed that offense, and they've just found a way to win games, even if they were close. They've found a way to do it. I expect another close game for the Cowboys. This one will be at 8:15 Eastern Time on Fox, just for your time accordingly. But be on Fox at 8:15. Cowboys, Seahawks. It was 24-13. Seattle won, 11 points. That's a pretty big margin in the NFL. But that was in Seattle. This time around, the Cowboys, with Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, that defense at home, I believe they get the job done. I expect another 24-20, 24-17, a close matchup, but I think the Cowboys at home get the job done over the Seattle Seahawks. Next, we go to Sunday. Those games were both on Saturday, by the way. Excuse me for not saying that. But on to Sunday's matchups. We have a game from 2 weeks ago in which the Ravens dominated. Phillip Rivers had the worst game he's had all season in the stretch of a season that was you could say that's possibly his best season he's ever had. Across the board, the Chargers are midway or in the top half of the league, top 10 of the league, 11th overall in offense, 9th in defense, 10th in passing, and 15th in rushing, as you can see. Some injuries with Melvin Gordon has kind of taken away from rushing here lately, the last several weeks of the year. But like I said, Philip Rivers is having an amazing season this year. He had his worst game at home of the season, even though we know their home field advantage really isn't a home field advantage. But this time they have to go on the road to Baltimore, who is currently 9th overall in offense, number 1 in defense. The defense is disgusting. 22nd in passing, but they've ridden the running game. 2nd in rushing on the legs of Lamar Jackson and just that committee of running backs they've had since Alex Collins went down on the IR. But this will be the Chargers at the Ravens. 2 weeks ago, we saw the Ravens really beat up on them in LA, 22-10. I do not expect this game to go the same way, but I do the exact same way that one did. But I do expect the Ravens to once again beat the Chargers. The Chargers had an amazing season. Overall, they were the second best team in the AFC, but unfortunately, they're in the same division with the Chiefs, and they have the MVP of this season on their team. But again, it's going to be a lot closer than the last time these two matched up 2 weeks ago. I expect another close game for Baltimore in Baltimore, but I just think that at home, the number 1 defense, the way that rushing attack has gone, I expect them just to edge out the Chargers, much like the Browns game last week. I know the Browns played a little bit more catch up to the Ravens last week, but I expect this one to be back and forth the entire game. Not necessarily a high scoring, but both of them in the 20s, in the 20 range, 27-20, 27-24. It could come down to a Justin Tucker field goal, but I do think the Ravens get the job done over the Chargers on Saturday. And that one is at 1:05 Eastern Time on CBS. And then the final game of Wild Card Weekend, you have the defending Super Bowl champs that had luck fall their way because of the Chicago Bears. The Bears beat the Vikings. They knew they had a good chance of who they were going to play. They lost the Vikings. They knew they'd be playing the Vikings once again. If they beat the Vikings, they knew they had a good chance of playing the Eagles. But the Eagles, they really beat up on the Redskins to win their game, and then the Bears took care of business for the Eagles against the Vikings. But the defending Super Bowl champs are in. There's been injuries with Nick Foles last week. They had to go with Sudfeld later in that game, but it didn't matter. The Redskins just couldn't do anything on offense. But the Eagles made the dance. That's all you need to do. Ask Eli Manning and ask about his 2 Super Bowl rings. All you got to do is make the show, and you can get the job done. But this game is at 4:40 Eastern on NBC. The Eagles, they go into the one place I believe that you really don't want to go play at. The Bears, their defense is disgusting. 3rd overall. I just think it's going to be really hard for the Eagles to go into Chicago. They have the 14th. I'll go ahead and go over their team rankings. 14th overall offense, 23rd ranked defense, 7th. They're 7th in passing, but 28th in rushing. The Bears' offense is 21st in the league, 3rd on defense, 21st in passing, 11th in rushing. I expect it. I don't expect the Bears to completely blow them out, but at home, Trubisky, he's played well. They've designed the game plan around what Trubisky can do. He can move, and he can throw the ball. They just build the game plan around what he can do, and they can always hand the ball off to Jordan Howard or get Cohen going in the pass game. The Bears at home is really the big difference for me, and the Eagles' possible Nick Foles, their savior last season, he may not play. I think he's expected to play, but there's a chance because he got hurt last week late in the second half of that game against the Redskins. I believe it was in the second half. Excuse me if I'm wrong. But I just don't see the Eagles. They did what they had to do at the end of the season to make it, but I just don't see them beating the Chicago Bears at home. The Bears, they surprised everybody this season. They went 12-4. It's absolutely crazy. They were not expected to do a whole lot, and they played amazing. Khalil Mack, he's got more sacks than the team he came from as an individual. It's going to be, I've said it 500 times, it's going to be really hard for the Eagles to go into Chicago and beat the Bears. It's unfortunate that this is the only game that we get to see the Bears play at home. I'd like to see somebody else have to go to Chicago and play, but that will not be the case. They just couldn't get home field advantage as one of those top 2 seeds, even with their win over the Rams. They just had that one extra loss. But I expect this will probably be the game that's separated the most. I expect all the other games to be closer than this one. I'm thinking the Bears in a 24-10 game at home, 31-17. I expect a double-digit win. I know I believe the line was 6. I expect a double-digit game between 10 and 14 points. I just don't see the Eagles going to Chicago and getting it done with the way that team plays at home with that defense. But that's just my opinion. I hope you guys let me know what you're looking for out of these 4 games this weekend down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up, share the content, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, let me know what you're looking for this weekend out of these 4 wildcard games in the comments below. And I guess that's where I'll leave it. This has been Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.